Good evening. Good evening, my sisters. Good evening, my brothers. Good to be with you. I would like to share with you some of my thoughts and views in regard to this upcoming very, very critical presidential election in just a few weeks. Let me set the basis for my views. I believe that whatever decisions we make and whatever actions we take need to be consistent and compatible with our view, with our values. And this becomes particularly important in the context of political life because the outcome of your decision, outcome of your action will affect not only you, but the entire society, and in this particular case, I believe the whole world. So from that point of view, I'm going to look at some of the values, Indian values, and compare them with corresponding statements and commitments that you see in the Biden-Harris platform. You know, when I think of values, I recall the statement of that great scholar statesman, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, former president of India. Listen to this. He said, he was describing Hindu life. He said, it is an attempt to discover the ideal possibilities of human life. What an extraordinary statement. And furthermore, if you think about it, it's really a universal value to discover the ideal possibilities of human life. And the American dream, in a manner of speaking, reflects that principle. The idea that all men are created equal, that Abraham Lincoln brought up during the Gettysburg Address, is reflected in one of our very famous statements, and that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudha iva Kutumbakam. Whole world is a family. Vasudha, earth, planet, the world, everyone. That is our theme. That is our belief. So from that point of view, what I would like to do is to look at some of the other statements that you see in our scriptures. For example, in all major rituals and ceremonies, we chant, Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Let all people, may all people be happy. Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Sanmangalani Bhavantu, which means may there be prosperity everywhere. Everyone, everywhere. That is our value. That is our value. And also, Rigveda declares, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. Truth is one, but the wise express the truth in different ways. What does it mean? It means that we inherently believe in every other path to Godhead, every religion. We have no particular preference. It's your choice. That's what we say. Now, if you have paid attention to the blessings that we bestow on children and adults throughout life, you will notice that almost every phrase contains the word happiness ingrained in it. So we talk about happiness. In fact, Swami Shivananda declared that bliss is your birthright. So these are our values. That is our heritage. In fact, that is precisely because of that compatibility between our values and the American values that we see the fantastic success that our community has had throughout the land in the past few decades. So, you know, our philosophy has covered it all. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is in the American psyche. But let's go back, way back, long, long, long ago. The Vedas declared similar sentiments. For example, the Atharva Veda says, Ayam lokaha priyamataha. This world is to be loved. The Rig Veda has phrases like Krudhino Adya. Let us make us happy now. Make us happy today. Adyeha, here and now. And then Uta Idanim, now itself. So these are all built into, if you like, the American dream that Biden-Harris candidacy and presidency would bring to everyone, Sarve Janaha. Now I'm going to shift to a few words that I would like to share with you about climate change. You know, recently we have seen these fire disasters world over, and especially in our Western states. It breaks my heart to see night after night on television beautiful homes, beautiful towns burned to the ground. And you wonder, how did this happen? How could this happen? It happens because of the unbelievable denial on the part of some leaders to accept the results and conclusions of science. We never had any conflict between science and scriptures, never. And in fact, as a proof of that, all you need to do is to go back to the very first book in the whole world, the Rig Veda. Rig Veda is full of hymns praising the environment, praising various aspects of the environment. That's the reason why we worship mountains, streams, oceans, and all different elements of earth, air, and so forth, all different elements of environment. And that's what you read in the Rig Veda. In fact, the very first shloka of the very first hymn of the very first book of the Rig Veda, if you simply open it and look at it, the very first shloka says, Om Agnimi Ile Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Rutvijam. It is an invocation and prayer to the fire god, Agni. So that is our heritage. In fact, if you look at the statement made by Biden-Harris in their platform, it says, Biden knows there is no greater challenge facing our country and our world. He has outlined a bold plan, a clean energy revolution to address this grave threat and lead the world in addressing the climate emergency. That is precisely what we need. That is precisely what the world needs. And by the way, there is no time to lose. Another commitment that I've seen that the Biden-Harris platform has made is to provide security, offer security to houses of worship. Mosques, churches, synagogues, gurudwaras, and temples, as you know, they don't really have any security forces. Most of the time, you see only priests. Now, beginning in the 70s, in this country, we have built roughly about 1,000 temples throughout the country. And this particular issue means a lot to us because we need to make sure that people are free to go to these houses of worship and pray freely without any kind of a fear. And also, there is another statement about providing or making it easy for religious workers to get visas. This is part of their plan. And that means a lot. I've been saying it for years that what we need is a robust exchange program between our temples here and those in Bharat. And that is very, very important, especially in the context of future generations. Another issue that I would like to take a couple of minutes to talk about is the issue of minimum wage, $15. This very reasonable need has been discussed for roughly since 2016. And what is amazing to me is that even though, I mean, obviously, this is not a particular issue of concern to us, the Indian community. But on the other hand, we have to be compassionate to these weaker sections of our community. Because recently, particularly after the pandemic, you saw these people described as essential workers, essential to the welfare of society. And so it is essential to support them. By the way, all this boasts about a great stock market means nothing to these people because the prosperity is obviously not spread to Sarve Janaha, all the people. That should be our goal. And by the way, what do you think these people will do when they get another few bucks? Do you think they will go to Italy and buy leather handbags and belts, or go to Paris and buy silk pajamas? They are going to be buying food, clothing, shoes. The money goes right back into the economy. So the economic well-being of the entire society is good thing for the economy on the whole. Now, the other thing that I want to shift to quickly is in 2006, I think Dr. Chatterjee mentioned this. In 2006, this is in reference to the United States-India relations. Biden announced his vision. Think about this, 2006, way back when, he announced his vision for the future of US-India relations. And I'm quoting, "My dream is that in 2020, the two closest nations in the world will be India and the United States." This is especially important to India now, because if you think about it, it is flanked on the west by a country that has hated it since day one for decades. On the east, it has a weak nation. In the south, they have a nation recovering from civil war. And in the north, a giant dictatorship which is envious of India's progress and potential. Therefore, we hope and pray that the Biden-Harris team, when they get into the government, when they get into the White House, will make this a priority, and I believe they will do it. You know, Kamala is our sister. I know she was born here, but she has this Indian heritage. Mother was from India, and she has referred to how inspired she has been from what she learned from her mother, and also her grandfather, who described to her the details of the Indian independence movement. Let me, in conclusion, talk about a very, very important factor that is very sacred to us Indians. That is character and leadership. You have to go back to the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, "Yadyada charati shreshtaha tattadeve itaro janaha." Whatever the leaders practice, whatever standards they set, it is going to be, there is a tendency for people to follow it. It is natural. People look to leadership for inspiration and guidance. So it is something that we need to really take it very seriously. But as a part of that character, I'm very sensitive, and I know you all are in the Indian community, with respect to the aspect of respecting women. A lady's honor is paramount to us, and we are not going to look the other way. We are not going to ignore it. We will never tolerate abuse of women. We will never tolerate demeaning them. We will never tolerate that at all. Why? Because we have learned our lesson from the two great epics. In the Ramayana, The Lanka war took place because of kidnapping of Sita. By the way, Ravana never disrespected Sita. He wanted to persuade her. But the mere fact she was kidnapped by Ravana, Hanuman burned the whole town. That's one lesson. The other lesson is in the second epic, the Kurukshetra war was fought because Princess Draupadi was shamed in public in the court of Dhritarashtra. That is the lesson that all of us have learned, and our children and their grandchildren will learn. And that is very, very important for us. And we will not ignore that aspect in terms of the character of leadership towards ladies. Now, I believe that a lady's honor is considered paramount to the well-being of a society, any society. So our support of this ticket this November has to be based on the logic and reasoning that I have tried to give. And I'm certain when you dwell on this, you'll conclude that it is essential for us to support this ticket, not just obviously in the past, we were able to just simply go and vote and we did our duty. But now we have to do more, much more. And I know that all of you in the Indian community are experts in social media. So my recommendation is that we use every tool that is possible. Facebook, Instagram, emails, telephoning our friends, relatives, and talking to our neighbors, and supporting the local campaigns and donating. All of these have to be done in just the next 3 or 4 weeks that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, may I conclude by saying that I appeal to, in fact, I beg each and every Indian American to take this thing very seriously. We have never had so much at stake that we do now. It is essential for you to look upon this as something that affects your well-being and security. In fact, I will go to the extent of saying your life, you work hard as though your life depends on it. Because trust me, it does. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless the Indian community. Namaste and Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Thank you.